Hi everyone, good afternoon. So I'm sure you are able to see me and also hearing me as well. Welcome. Today's agenda is we are going to discuss about graduate studies in United States of America. And at the end of the session, I'll be taking your questions as well. So let's get started very quickly. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. At the end of it, I'll answer all of that. So I think most of you who are attending this webinar would be confused about the different future options, they would be not quite clear about whether they should do MS or whether if they are interested in doing MS, how they should go about doing it, or what are the different study options they have if they choose to do MS. Apart from all of this, they're not very sure how much money would be invested into doing MS, something like an MS, and why they should be doing it, money involved, the return on the money, and all of that. So this entire webinar is focused in solving all these questions so that you can go ahead and make a right decision. Okay. So before we go ahead, let's quickly see what are the contents of this entire webinar. We'll quickly see the need for higher education. Then we'll specifically focus on why higher education in United States of America itself. Then we'll have a 5-year career plan. With this plan, you should be able to evaluate whether going for international education in the United States is going to be the best thing for you at this point of time. After we see all of that, then we'll see how international universities in US evaluate your admission. And are there any chances of getting scholarships, assistantships? If yes, what are the different things which I need to do to make my profile very strong? And then we'll see the entire admission roadmap. Okay, so let's get started very quickly. So first and foremost, for most of you, why should we go for higher education? I think most of us know this answer, but let's quickly just have a recap. I think the most important reason why people would prefer going for higher education is after they complete their bachelor's in India, we all know what are the average salaries which a person earns once they complete their bachelor's degree. Say if you are an engineering student, you'll earn somewhere between 20 to 30,000 per month, ideally. And if you are into a different branch, you might even earn a little lesser than that. So ideally, the salaries which people earn in India, are that enough for you to survive? That question you need to ask your own self. Apart from that, the broad opportunities which students have with bachelor's degree in our home country, and I think you might be interacting with your mentors, your seniors, your alumni, and all of these people would be telling you exactly what is the scope here. In this seminar, or to be more precise, in this webinar, I'm going to talk about what are the opportunities you have in United States per se. Okay. Then so a lot of people come to me and they say that, you know what, I want to have a product which has its name, which is my name itself. So if you have some aspirations like that, again, higher education is the key. Then you want to set up your own company and become an entrepreneur. Again, for that, if you have some relevant experience, some practical relevant experience in your area of interest, that will go a long way in making it a reality for you. Apart from that, you will increase your intellectual level and all of that as well. And I'll come to this 45-year retirement plan if we have a little bit of scope at the end of the presentation. So now the foremost question is, why should we have United States as our topmost priority for graduate studies? A lot of people who are studying here would know that whatever you study in their respective university pan-India, the application approach to it is lacking, or you don't have a lot of scope to go ahead and do research or real-time application of all what you study. So the idea is the infrastructure in the United States is huge. They have huge volumes of investment as well. Apart from that, the environment and the facilities for research and technical growth are enormous, and that will teach you how to apply the classroom learnings into real-time scenario or real-time application. And that is where you would be unique and bring about a new innovation. Obviously, apart from academia, you can gain a lot of international exposure as well by interacting with people from different countries, specifically United States and China, because apart from Indians, there are Asians, Chinese, and Americans who study in the United States quite a lot. Okay, apart from that, a lot of options we have to pursue, like non-technical programs for engineering students, like engineering management, financial engineering, management information systems, so on and so forth. So I think some of the reasons being the job opportunities back in India and in United States, which we'll discuss in a short span of time. Then your opportunities to have research done, apply your application-oriented knowledge could be some of the key reasons to choose United States as a destination for higher education. So and obviously needless to say, if you want to earn big, if you want to earn huge, and how huge that could be, we'll quickly see. Then obviously United States it is. Now let's quickly go ahead and see whether we are capable enough financially to pursue a degree in United States. These are some of the topics which I have already discussed while we are discussing. So let's say that what are the different options I have and what are the financial implications of each option. So first, let's understand what are the different options I have. So if you choose to do a graduate study in United States, the options are you can go ahead and do your master's, you can go ahead and do your MBA. A lot of universities also offer a dual program, which is a master's plus an MBA program. And at the end of it, you can also go ahead and do a PhD. Okay. So if all these reasons, money being the major point, research, international exposure, making your own product, setting up an innovation and setting up a legacy in the field of your interest, if all of this inspires you, then we come to how much does it actually cost to do an MS in United States? Does it cost, say, around let's discuss, I'll discuss that with you. Does it cost around 60 lakhs, 70 lakhs, or what exactly does it cost? Let's see a 5-year plan. And if we see this entire plan, I think this will make it very clear for you. Let's understand the terminologies first. So if you're planning to go to United States in next August or September, we are talking about the fall term. If you plan to go to United States in the month of January, we are talking about the spring term. Here, I'm going to focus my webinar into talking about students who are aspiring to go to United States in next August, which is fall of 2019. And I want to show them their 5-year career plan, fall 2019 till January of 2024. Okay, let's get started into this. So how much does it cost? You might be thinking 70 lakhs, 60 lakhs. Do I have that much amount of money? Do I really need to spend that much? Let's understand. Let's find out. Okay. I have put a sample of USC's tuition fees. Say tuition fees, this is just a sample, okay? Don't quote this anywhere. I'm teaching you how to read a university's website. So suppose the tuition fees on USC's website for 1 year is say $35,000. The housing is $20,000. Another miscellaneous cost is say $5,000. That makes it around, say total fees for 1 year is $60,000. The summation of all of that. Now, how an Indian individual would calculate this is for 1 year, if my fees is 60,000, technically an MS is a 2-year program. So what you would do is you will multiply this amount into 2 years, and then your fees would be $1,20,000, and then you will multiply it with the dollar rate, say in this case, say approximately around 70 rupees. Then $1,20,000 into 70 is what you would spend up for your education. Is that true? The answer is totally no. It is not this expensive. And I am very confident about what I'm talking because I've sent more than 3,000 students to United States. So I'll just explain you how to read a university's website. Okay. This is just a sample of an I-20 where all that amounts have been mentioned, which I had shown on the previous slide. So let's understand how to read a university's website. So the first and foremost thing which we need to understand is United States and the universities in United States follow a credit-based system. So let's say we are talking about USC here, where you need to take 27 credits or units to complete your master's, and one course ideally is getting you 3 credits. This varies from university to university. Suppose you go to Carnegie Mellon University, you need to complete 96 units to complete your master's, and one course will fetch you 12 credits or units. That means you need to do 8 courses at Carnegie. At USC, because 27 credits and one course fetching you 3 credits, you need to take 9 courses to complete your master's. So 9 courses totally to complete your master's. Okay, forget it whether it's a 2-year master's, 1.5-year master's, or 1-year master's. Your master's require 9 courses. Remember that. Just take this as a benchmark example, which will help you in understanding a lot of other university websites and their tuition fees. Okay. So if I have to take 9 courses to complete my master's and I have to take minimum 3 courses per semester, then what will happen is in 1 year, I have 2 semesters. In 1 year, when I have 2 semesters, I will complete 6 courses. So be with me, just pay a little bit of attention. 27 credits, 1 course getting me 3 credits, so total of 9 courses. 1 year has 2 semesters, fall and spring, if we consider that way. And in 1 semester, you need to take 3 courses. So in 1 year, you took 6 courses. So we just saw on the previous slide that the tuition fees for 1 year was $35,000. So $35,000 tuition fees was for 6 courses ideally. Remember this. Now you are left with only 3 more courses. So now what you would do is you would divide $35,000 into half and add to $35,000, which is now becoming $52,500. And this is your total tuition fees for studying at USC. Now you go back and do the math, you'll come to know it is not that expensive. Now, a lot of people who are listening to me right now would be thinking, oh, you know what? You ignored the remaining cost of housing and miscellaneous costs and all of that. No, 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 I have not ignored anything. I'll be covering all of that as well. Give me a minute. So first and foremost, what we take away from this till now is whenever you read a university website, you will see 1 year's tuition fees, understand how many credits you can complete in 1 year, or simple words and very simple words, whatever is 1 year tuition fees, make it into half and add it to the tuition fees. That's your total cost, and don't double. Okay. Now let's go ahead and understand what is the housing, what is the living cost, etc. Okay, let's quickly go ahead and do that. So if you're starting your semester in the month of August, that is next fall, let's understand this to debits and credits. Okay, so the debits, let's understand the debits. Okay, suppose you are in California, then your rent would be say $350 per month and your food is $150 per month. Now we are going to see in minute details how much you are going to spend and how much you are going to parallelly earn. So just pay attention for the next 10 minutes and you will have the complete clarity on how much beyond the tuition fees you are actually going to spend for your food and for your stay, etc. So your rent and your food is $500. This is for a month. If we do it for 5 months, which is August to December semester 1, then that is a total of $2,500 which you spend. How much can you earn? You can work for 20 hours a week on campus, but ideally that's a little challenging because you have a lot of coursework as well. So you will work for say 10 hours a week and you will earn approximately around say $10 an hour if you are in Los Angeles in California. Then maximum what you can earn per week is $100. 10 hours a week, $10 an hour is $100 per week. How many weeks make a month? 4 weeks will make a month. So 100 into 4 is $400 per month is what you would earn. Let's say August to November, which is 4 months. So 400 into 4 is $1,600 for that 4 months. Now in the month of December, you will get to work 1 month for in lieu of Christmas break. You're allowed to work for 40 hours a week. So 40 hours a week and $10 an hour. So $400 a week, and 4 weeks will make the month of December as well. So that is another, or I would say 5 weeks, because first week of January also you are allowed to work for 40 hours a week. So 400 into 5 is $2,000. So if we sum up $1,600 and $2,000, this is what you would earn, $3,600 in the first semester. Forget the tuition fees for now. We just discussed how to calculate the tuition fees. Right now we are seeing the cost beyond the tuition fees. So at the end of semester 1, you are at an advantage of approximately $1,100. Wow, great. Keep this in mind and we'll focus on this again as we go ahead in the presentation. Let's go to spring of 2020, which is your semester 2, Jan to May. Very similar calculations. I'm not going to repeat it. We end up spending $2,500. Here $400, and now for 5 months, that is $2,000 is what you would earn. 400 into 5. We just saw that, right? And unlike Christmas, we don't have 40 hours to work here as of now. Okay, remember this. So earlier profit was 1,100. So 2,000 plus 1,100 is $3,100, and you have spent $2,500. Correct? So what you would end up saving would be approximately $600. Still, you are at an advantage, and this should clearly tell you whatever is your living cost and whatever is your cost for food, etc., is easily being managed. And on the top of it, you have saved something as well. So this completes my 1 year where I had paid $35,000 as an example as a tuition fees, and wherever I have had, I'm sorry, are you able to hear me? It's showing me that there's some issue with the audio. I'm sure everyone is able to hear me. Okay. So at the end of it, I am still at an advantage of $600. Fair? Let's go ahead. Now we are talking about from May to August, or specifically from June to August, we get 3 months of summer break. Now in this summer break, either we get an internship or we don't get an internship. Okay, keep this in mind. Either we have an internship or we don't have one. Right now, I'm going to focus on the scenario where I have an internship. So if you have an internship, you can start earning for 3 months. You can work for 40 hours a week and you can earn somewhere between $30 to $60 an hour. And you are allowed to work for 40 hours a week. Wow. So let's say that you earn $30 an hour and you're working for 40 hours a week. So that will make it $1,200 per week. We just discussed 4 weeks will make a month. So $4,800 for that month. An internship spans across for 3 months ideally. So 4,800 into 3 is $14,400. And we were at an advantage of $600 if you remember clearly, right? So this makes it approximately $15,000, which you can earn only during summer, which is as good as you can pay your last semester tuition fees, which is $17,000 approximately. We just saw that, right? 35,000 divided by 2, which is 7,500. So this is approximately 15,000, which is an earning. So you can very well pay your last semester fees on your own if you get an internship. So I hope that makes it very clear for you. Now let's go ahead and see what if I don't have an internship. If you don't have an internship, still you are allowed to work for 40 hours a week, and we'll presume that you would continue doing your on-campus job, which was fetching you $10 an hour. So 40 hours a week, $10 an hour, which is $400 per week. 4 weeks make a month, so $1,600 per month, and 3 months summer, so that is approximately around $4,800, and $600 which you had at a credit previously, so that is approximately $5,400. If you multiply this with 70, you would understand this is your total cost which you will gain or which you would end up spending before you fly to United States from India. This includes your visa fees, your service fee, your online applications, offline applications, and all of that. What I want to distinctly clearly tell you is, in summer, either you get your last semester fees almost, or you recover the cost which you had spent before you flew from India to United States, your entire application cost. So it's a win-win situation in both cases. Now let's go ahead. The last semester, August to December. This is 2020. If you are with me in presentation, you would see that we started with fall 2019, August to December. Excuse me, we went ahead and saw January to May of 2020. Then we saw summer, which was June to August of 2020. And now we come to the final semester, August and December of 2020. Why final semester? Because you have to do 9 courses. You have already done 6 and you're left with only 3 more courses. Okay. So you can easily graduate in the 3rd semester here. So again, exactly the very similar calculations, $500 for 5 months, $2,500 you would earn, you would spend, and all this we have already seen. And here, because you are graduating, you are not allowed to work for 40 hours in Christmas, but that's okay. We can ignore that for now. So there's a deficit, a very small amount of deficit, but I think till this point of time, this should clearly tell you that 4 things you should clearly be aware of. 1, if you get an internship, you pay your last semester fees. 2, living and your food cost you can easily manage by working on campus, even if that is as less as 10 hours a week. Point number 3, if you don't have an internship, you still get to recover the cost which you have spent before you flew from India to United States. And 4th, and very important, don't double the tuition fees which you read on a university's website. Understand very clearly, you need to halve that cost and add it to the tuition fees. So this should motivate you that it is not that expensive to study in United States, and most importantly, all of you can think about going and studying there. Now, a lot of people would be thinking, okay, if I take this risk about going and studying there, what if? Let's see what are your concerns. Okay, I'm going to do that for you. What if? Let's understand these four scenarios. What if I have a job in US? If I don't have a job in US and want to stay in US? If I have to return back to India with work experience, or if I have to return back to India without work experience. Okay, let's understand these four scenarios so you can make a realistically convincing, informed decision for yourself whether you want to pursue graduate studies or not in US. So let's see the first case. If I have a job in US, I earn somewhere between $85,000 to $90,000. Again, this varies from specialization to specialization. Let's say right now that you are earning $85,000 per annum, out of which 33% will go in tax. Excuse me. Remember, the earnings vary from specialization to specialization. It varies from state to state as well, because every state has a different tax compensation which the customer or with the user needs to pay. So out of $85,000, if I pay 33% in tax, 31,000 goes, and what will be left with me is approximately $54,000 per annum, which is $4,500 per month. I'm sure that you'll be feeling I'm going too fast, but it's simple maths. I just want to cover a point, or I want to state a point due to which we are quickly doing some mathematics. $4,500 a month, say you rent and food, you want to live a very luxurious life, you end up spending $1,000 a month, and you buy your own car and the EMI of the car is $500 a month. That is approximately $1,500 is your spending. This is a very luxurious lifestyle. You can save much of it. Okay. So 4,500 minus 1,500 is $3,000 you would save per month into 12, which is for the year. You can save $36,000. You can go ahead and do the math. How much time will it take for you to repay the loan? Maximum 1.5 years, not beyond that. That also in an extreme worst case scenario. If you are good and start with a 6-digit salary, you can even pay it in 1 year. Or if you choose to live an average lifestyle, not a very luxurious lifestyle, still you can go back and pay your loan in 1 year. Now, what if you don't have a job and you want to stay in the US? So here you can get a job through consultants. There are people in US who are a bridge between the company and the student. They will put you in connection with the people in the companies and will ensure that you get a job. The only challenge with this is you will not get very high paid jobs. You will earn somewhere between $65,000 to $70,000 per annum. However, that's also good, at the end of it, if you're getting a job. The catch here is 33% will go in tax and 15% approximately will go to consultant assist fees. So you end up spending 50%. 33 plus 15 is 48. So let's say you end up spending or giving 50% of your salary. If your salary was 70,000, you end up saving 35. I've just used 36 so that it's easy to divide with 12. Okay. So if you are saving $36,000 per annum, your saving per month would be $3,000, and now you can choose to live an average lifestyle, not a very luxurious one, and spend $1,000 a month. Still, you can save $2,000 a month, which is approximately $24,000 a year. Still quite good, guys, compared to what you can earn in India. And I think this is a good amount. This is a very good amount. Okay. So moving ahead, if you happen to stay for over 5 years in US and you want to return back to India, and let's say that you got a job on your own merit where we save $36,000, save that $36,000 into 5 years, you can save approximately $180,000. Now here also, I have considered a complete worst case scenario. Ideally, if you are good, your salaries would increase and you would have appraisals. But let's say we ignore all of that. Still in 5 years after working in US, you can earn approximately $180,000, and you can do the math for yourself to identify how good that amount is and whether if you stay back in India, how much time will it take for you to get back this amount. Okay. So now let's go ahead and see the third scenario. If I want to come back to India with some work experience, if I do that, and if I have 3 to 5 years of work experience, I can come back to the same company, but the salaries might not be exactly the same like US, 15-20% less, but still that would be quite good. And you can ask this to any of your seniors. Easily you can end up saving 16 to 20 lakhs if you come with work experience back to India. However, tax and all that, I'm not getting into it right now. Okay. And a lot of my students at least have scored or have got more than 20 lakhs as well. And just a thing to caution you, 95% of the companies in US, if I don't want to say a stat, I would say most of the companies in US have their branches in India. So you can just take a transfer, and if you do have a company which does not have a branch in India, very, very simple, you can easily set up its own franchise or a branch. Okay, so I think that makes it very clear. Now let's go ahead and see the fourth scenario. If you have to return back to India without any work experience, then what? Let's see that. Okay, and that will give us a lot more clarity further. So if I have to return back to India with work experience, without work experience rather, you can go and interact with your seniors, your alumni on LinkedIn. A lot of companies with an international degree start paying their students or their employees somewhere between 10 to 14 lakhs. The best way to check this is go on Glassdoor, go on LinkedIn, ask people. And apart from this, while working in those companies, you can also think about becoming an entrepreneur and start up something of your own. A lot of people come back and tell me that they hate their teachers, in a way, and teaching jobs are something which are not lucrative at all. I want just throw a little bit of light. Currently, the teachers which are teaching on somewhere between 70,000 to 1 lakh per month. So if you want to do that as a part-time and do something of your own when you return back to India, in the worst case scenario, you can still earn quite a lot of money. So I think this fourth scenario should give you a complete clarity that how much does it cost to study, how quickly you can return back your money to a bank if you have taken a loan, or to your parents if you have taken it from them. And what if you have a job in US? What if you don't have a job in US? What if you have to return back from US? Or what if you have to return back to US after work experience? Okay. I'll take the questions at the end. I see some people sending questions. I'll take that at the end. So going ahead. So I just discussed your 5-year plan, $36,000 into 5. Remember, $1,80,000, and that's how great it is. So let's go ahead quickly. Is there any possible way to save further money when I'm spending so much? The answer is yes, of course. How? So we have options of scholarships, assistantships. Now, what is that? See, I think most of you understand what are scholarships, so I'm not getting into the details of that. Ideally, the top 15-20 schools, unless your profile is exclusively, superlatively great, would refrain from giving scholarships. So the idea is, and even if they do give, they would give somewhere between 2 to 3 lakh or maximum up to 5 lakhs. Now that in comparison to what you can get in assistantships is very, very negligible. If you get an assistantship, now let's understand first what is an assistantship and how to get one. So what is an assistantship? There are 3 different types: the teaching assistantship, the research assistantship, and the graduate assistantship. If I'm a faculty member and you choose to work with me, and I agree to that, seeing that your profile is very, very impressive and you get an A grade in my course, I'll keep you a teaching assistant to my course. Or if I find that you have very good research abilities, I can take you in my research group and you can be my research assistant. In either case, if you work with an American professor in his teaching group or in his research group, the entire semester fees would be paid by the university. Wow. If you perform well in your assistantship, the assistantship can continue for the next semester as well. Excellent. If you perform well in that semester as well, ideally, these professors are CEOs and have their own companies, or are at a very respectable post in top-notch firms. So they will ensure that you get a full-time job as well. So that's the most lucrative part, right? If you can, and my students studying in Carnegie Mellon, Georgia Tech, Urbana, Syracuse, University of Washington, most of them have got either a teaching assistantship or a research assistantship. And this were not PhD students, they were master students. Remember this. So it's possible, okay? I'm not getting into the details, but I'll just throw a little bit of light on how to make your profile strong and how to qualify for an assistantship. Publish some papers. Again, as I said, I'm not getting into the details of all of it. Participate in technical conferences and competitions. do internship in the chosen field of your area of study, do certification programs through edX, Udemy, Coursera, etc., and do some research of the universities and the professors whom you are going to connect with, and take up some research in that domain so that you can create a very strong impression on that professor's mind. And if you come back to us, I'll teach you all of this, how to do this. Okay, let's quickly go ahead. Okay, now let's see, how does a university evaluate a student's profile? Most of you know it. Let's quickly see it again. So 7 factors, okay? Your GRE, your TOEFL, your aggregate, your marks or your GPA, your resume, your SOP, your LOR, or your marks in the subject in which you want to do your master's in. Suppose you choose to do your master's in electrical engineering VLSI, and you are an engineering student in electronics, and you have a KT in subjects related to VLSI, then that might go against you. So remember, these are the 7 factors, out of which it's not that if you have a low GRE or an average GPA, your application is outrightly rejected. It also depends on how strong your SOP, LOR, and resume is. And university evaluates the entire profile as a package and not something which is individual. However, if you have an extremely low GPA or a very poor GRE, then yes, you'll be filtered out straight away. So it's a balance which you need to understand the university would do while they are evaluating your application. Okay. Now, let's see the entire application roadmap. How do I strengthen my profile for assistantships? Now, this is mainly for engineering students, so I'm not getting into this at this point of time. What are the different fields? Again, not getting into it right now. If you are keen in knowing more about it, contact me. I'll discuss it with you. Okay, these are some of the options. If you are an engineering student, of course. So moving ahead, how do we decide what is the right field for us? Again, we can do this on a one-on-one session, but just give you some tips. Identify the areas which you like and the areas which you don't like. Mention that in on a sheet of a paper and go and show that to a technical person. He would be able to map this interest to a career for you. Apart from that, identify the companies you wish to work with. Go and check their careers page. See what type of role. Suppose you want to be a part of Google. See what Google wants for master students. If they want someone with an exclusive knowledge of machine learning, go in computer science and do your program in computer science, in artificial intelligence and machine learning. So look at the companies' websites where you want to work, see their careers, and then take a call. Listen to open source lectures on Coursera, edX, Udemy about the fields which you know. Identify where you are getting goosebumps and what you would want to learn more. And from that, create your chosen field. Don't get influenced by people when you decide your field, one. And second, and very important, almost all fields in the United States have a significantly decent future. So don't stress out so much. Like what you do, money is going to be the byproduct of it. Remember this. Okay. So let's see quickly an application roadmap. So ideally, first you should decide your field. Then you should make your profile strong in that. If you're running short on time because you want to apply next year and you don't have a lot of things on your profile right now, just make your application, then create your profile, and then later on write mails to professors about what else changes you have made in your profile so that you can lay an impression for assistantship and also to be considered for an applicant at that university. Apart from that, your resume and LOR will come later, statement of purpose, and we'll discuss each one of it in a little bit detail on the next slide. Your online forms, your offline packets, your financial documents, your university decision. This is exactly how we do for each student of ours. Your visa application, your visa finance, your getting ready for visa, and more important than that, how to write mails to professors for assistantships and how to apply for internships. We do all of that as well. So coming quickly to each one of them, field selection, very, very important. We just discussed that. Resume and LOR. Very important that you choose the right recommender, someone who can vouch for you in a very positive way. Ideally 2 from the college, 1 from the company. If you have more than 2 years of experience, 2 from the company and 1 from the college. Okay, and you need ideally 3 letters of recommendation, something which depicts your all-round personality. Statement of purpose, very important. In your physical absence, this document is going to convince the university why you want to study there and why you are better than the others. It has to be in a very, very convincing storytelling format where you explain your entire journey in a very, very concise yet convincing way. So very important. University selection, remember, don't select the universities blindly and just on the basis of rankings. Go and look at their courses and their research and then go back and look at the rankings. If it falls in top 70, go and apply. You'll end up with a good job. Don't worry about it. And then study well, of course. Online applications, offline applications is submitting forms and transcripts and mark sheets, etc. to the university. Then the financial documents which you need to send to the university to get an I-20, very, very important. Again, not getting into the nitty-gritties of each one of this at this point of time. We can do that a little later and some other session, or you can contact me directly for that. Then out of all the admits which university you should finally go to, and then the entire visa planning. Okay, so this is how we help our students. And in case if you're not taking our services, you should follow the same pattern. So that will help you to keep an organized check on your own self. Okay. Now, how do we help in saving some money for you? So save some money with SR. So we have our typical sessions where we talk about how to write mails to professors for assistantships, and I will also teach you how to create a very strong profile for your university, for your program, through which you can save approximately around 1 to 2 semester fees if you get an assistantship, which is around 12 to 24 lakhs. Huge money, indeed huge money. We'll also be discussing the strategy for career fairs, in which I'll teach you how to apply for internships, you know, that 3 months where you can earn somewhere between $15,000 to $18,000. Then if you're really thinking of going and taking professional help, enroll with someone so that you can make the right choice of the universities for your GRE and TOEFL. You get 4 free options, so you can save approximately around $200 there as well. Our SOPs and LORs get our students into Georgia Tech, Carnegie, Urbana-Champaign, Austin, etc. And if you get into the top branded schools in your program of choice, your salaries could be as high as 6-digit dollars. You know, you can imagine how good that would be. Apart from that, Credila is a partner for education loans, and they have this 80 exemption where you can save a lot of money, and they can reduce your interest rate if you have a very strong profile and a good CIBIL score, and on our strong recommendation where you can easily end up over the span of a couple of years around 2 to 5 lakh rupees, and then exchange currency, etc. So this is how, apart from the entire application roadmap, will help you to save further money. That's where we are different. I just discussed about Credila, the income tax benefits, and how strong credit history can help. And they are too much of a brand in the market right now, and can really help you to get loans at your doorstep for your I-20, for your visa, and as high as 35 to 40 lakhs, provided you have a good background, good CIBIL score of your sponsor. Moving ahead, so life before MS, a lot of people would be keen in knowing that. So if you are into, I'm not catering to the students who are thinking about going to US 2 years from now. I'm just going to focus into students who are wanting to go to US next year. So this is your plan. If you have already taken your GRE, June, you should complete your Sem 6 exams if you are an engineering student. July, August, now because we have crossed that, I'm not getting into that. You should ideally September, October, November, try to complete your applications, select your universities, complete your SOP, LOR, resume. Apply early so you stand a chance to get an admission early, and if there is a little scope for scholarships, you qualify for that as well, because applying early really helps. And after the applications are over, which for me, don't look at the deadlines that the university would put, try to complete by second week of November maximum or before that. So applying early will help you, and once you are done with that, go back and start getting your profile really very strong. so that when you write mails to professors after your application, it can still help you in an assistantship. Remember this, okay? So apart from that, this is again if you have taken GRE, not taken GRE, but we are in the month of September, so now nearly it's almost the same pattern with both the students who have taken GRE and not taken GRE should follow. Now live during MS. So total hours which you would have is 24 into 7, 168 hours. Again, this is subjective to the program which you are selecting. However, it is very, very challenging to study in US. It has to be, right? Because it is going to fetch you that high salaries. So it has to be very challenging. So I'm not getting into the details of this. I could do that, but because we are running on the shortage of time and I want to take a lot of questions, I'm just going to put this on the slide for you to read. I'm not discussing it much into the details, okay? If you have any questions, you can ask me on this. Life after MS, I want to give a glimpse for sure. So you get up at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you do your breakfast and leave for work. 8 o'clock, you reach your office. 8 to 12 is your session 1. 12 to 1 is your lunch break. 1 to 5 is your session 2. 5 o'clock, you leave office. They generally don't prefer people working overtime because they need to pay you more for that. Okay. Evening, there is traffic, so you'll reach home by 6:30 in the evening. 7:30 till 7:30, you can prepare your dinner. And after that, the time is for you to enjoy and have leisure. And after 9:30, you can talk to your parents, etc. And 10 o'clock, you can go to bed. This is from Monday to Friday. After on the weekends, Monday to Thursday to be precise. On Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, what people do after 9, you can go and check on Google because they have hard parties and they really enjoy their life. So it's said, right? You work hard, but you party harder. That's what people follow in US mostly. So yes, this is the life after your MS. Okay. So with that, I think I have covered major part of how much you would be spending, how much time will it take for you to get back your money, what are the different process or what are the different things which a university looks out for, how should you make your profile strong, what is the entire application cycle, and how would be your life after you complete your MS, and what if you don't get a job. I've discussed that scenario as well. So with that, I'm going to put some testimonials here. I don't know how much have you read about me on LinkedIn. I'm Professor Hardik Shah. You can go and check about me on LinkedIn. And over the last 10 years, from the time when I started guiding students, formally have sent more than 3,000 students, and I have helped more than 25,000 students in Mumbai University because I'm also a faculty member in there. So that's how I've helped people. Now, if you want to read more about me, you can go on LinkedIn. This is the entire chart of what we just discussed. These are the few testimonials. You can keep on reading that, and I will start taking all your questions. Okay, so all over to your questions. If you have any questions, start sending it to me so I can answer that real quick for you. Sir, what if I got an internship, and in that time, what about the expense? I don't know who has asked me this question. I have already covered that you'll earn $15,000 to $80,000, and the expense would be approximately $300 to $500 for your food and your rent. So for 3 months, that could be approximately around like say $1,500, not beyond that. Okay. So I hope that answers your question there. Okay, can I have some questions thrown at me, please? Okay. So Shaktaveil, I just answer your question about the expense part, how LOR and SOP factors affect the application. Dipti, very, very important question. LOR and SOP are the heart of your applications, okay? I'll answer this in a very, very interesting way so that you understand. Ideally, out of the 7 factors, the GRE, the TOEFL, your aggregate is seen by the graduate admissions committee where professors don't intervene. However, when you talk about the SOP and the LOR, they are directly being seen by the professors. So if you have an average GRE or an average GPA, but very strong LOR and SOP, when I say average, it's not very low as well. Okay, understand that. So if you have very strong SOP and LOR, you can target the top-notch universities as well. I'll give you an example. Last year, we had a couple of students who had 302, 303 on GRE, and they went to College Park and Urbana-Champaign because they had very strong letters of recommendation and very strong SOP. Again, I and my team will be preparing that for you. But for that, you need to go ahead and take the signatures from your recommenders. So I hope, Dipti, that helps. If you have any question on that, again, you can send it to me. Okay. How do we pay the application fee when applying for the program? So when you, Pooja, when you start filling up an online application form, at the end of the form, you'll be asked to pay the online application fee. You'll need a credit card. Ideally, the fee for a particular university varies between $70 to $100. So depending on the university, that would be charged to you through your credit card. Okay, I hope, Pooja, that helps. What factors add greater weightage to a conventional LOR and SOP? Okay, Yash, what factors? Very, very good question. So for a conventional LOR and SOP, Yash, what will happen is, first and foremost, you need to show distinct clarity on why you have chosen a specific field of your interest. Once you show that, convince them in the last couple of years how you have worked towards that goal by doing certification programs, or by working in that area of interest, or by publishing some papers or doing some research in that relevant domain. If you can show any of these four things in a very, very convincing way, your SOP will stand out from the crowd. LOR, when your teachers are recommending you, understand one thing very clearly, that they should not talk only about your class behavior, but they should talk about your all-round personality. So that is how your LOR and SOP would be different compared to others. I hope that helps. Now, Dipti is again asking, graduate assistantship, how it helps to cover the tuition fees of the university. Around 20%, not full 100% like RA or TA. So Dipti, that should help you. How to get a scholarship when applying the program? Is it possible? Do I get a scholarship? So when you apply for graduate studies, your profile is anyways considered for scholarship directly. For some specific universities, you need to fill a specific form, but for most of them, it's a general application through which you'll be considered for scholarship as well. So there's nothing to worry. Shakti will, you'll be considered for the scholarship. Okay. Will recession affect me while working in US after studies? Apurva, I'm not sure if you heard the entire presentation. I discussed all the four factors. What if you don't get a job in US as well? However, to answer your question directly, once you complete your graduate studies, you go on OPT for 29 months. Okay, depending on the program which you have studied, if it's a STEM program. In 29 months, you would very easily find a job on your merit or through a consultant. If not, and in both that scenarios, how much would you want? I have discussed that. And if not, and if you have to return back to India, which is very rare, none of my students except for one have returned, and that too because he wanted to start his own company, it won't be a problem. So don't you worry, Apurva. And for you to be rest assured about what I'm talking is true, go back and check on Glassdoor or LinkedIn. That will also speak exactly the same what I'm talking. Okay, Dipti again. So I can take only 3-4 more questions because we need to wind up this. Okay, Dipti, that was an example. Okay, I'll just give you an example again. In any international university for an MS course, you need to complete either 8 courses to 15 courses. I took an example here of 9 courses, but 10 to 12 is a maximum what you can have. Okay, so when you're taking 3 courses per semester, out of that, weekly you have to just take out 10 hours, and that is possible. It's not working per day here. It's working per week for 10 hours. It's not working per day. I think you got that wrong, or if I'm sorry if I've communicated that way. But yes, it's 10 hours a week. Yeah. So I think that makes it. What are your counseling fees? Twinkie is asking. There are a lot of different packages, Twinkie. We start from 20,000 rupees and we go up till 50 as well. I don't know what package you are looking for specifically. So I think you can talk to me in person and I can help you with that. Okay. Do I need to send hard copies? Twinkie, I am going to splash out the numbers on the screen at the end of the presentation so you can get in touch with me. Okay. I will just first answer all the questions. Apurva, do I need to send hard copies of my SOP, LOR and transcripts to ASU University for MS and CS? Apurva, I think that is too specific, okay? And I don't want to answer a very specific question like that because everyone will start throwing questions like that. However, because you have asked some genuine questions before, I'll give you an answer. Ideally, if you submit everything online, you don't need hard copies. But what happens is, in case of LOR specifically, teachers, if they don't submit the LOR on time, it's always better to have a hard copy to be sent across to the university, even if they trash it and even if they say that they're not going to look at it. It's always better because that works like a backup. Okay. And any which ways, revealing you something internal, though ASU would ask you to send the LORs, ASU is one such university which is too acad centric and does not put a lot of emphasis on LORs. Okay, when they are evaluating the application, that is just something very confidential. You can ignore it if you wish to, because that is just a very confidential thing which I've just shared with you. It's not that they don't evaluate or they don't see the LOR, they don't put a lot of emphasis on it. Okay, Yash is asking, do the native students generally face an advantage over international ones when it comes to securing assistantships, internships, or jobs? Very good question, Yash. Yes, they have an advantage over us. However, the percentage of domestic students doing masters is 10% compared to Indians. So I think you did not worry about it. Most of the people who go for masters are either Indians, Asians, Chinese, and some very brilliant Americans. So they are so brilliant that anyways they would have an advantage, not because of their area of residence or your country of residence, but because they like what they do. There are very few who do it exactly because they want to do it. Okay. And internships and jobs, yes, but then as I said, there are very few who do that. So anyways, you have a chance, so not to worry. What should be the maximum GRE score to apply in top universities? Garima, I don't know which are the top universities you are targeting. Please specify, I can tell. Sir, as you said, 4 conditions after MS has come back to India without experience or with experience. I've discussed both the cases, Dipti. With experience and without experience, I've discussed both those cases while we were discussing the presentation. I'm looking for master in cybersecurity, but my undergraduate degree is BE Mechanical Engineering. Do I get an admit in top university without taking any prerequisite here? Or can I take it here, and do I need to go for the courses in the universities too? Shaktivil dear, you tell me, if I am the university, you are a mechanical engineering student, how would I be convinced that you are strong and you can complete your masters in cybersecurity without any prerequisite knowledge? I would suggest for you take some certification course in cybersecurity. Apply for mechanical engineering, but apply to the universities which has a very good cybersecurity program. Go there and talk to the graduate advisor and request them to change your specialization, and that's very much allowed. So do use that as a strategy over applying directly for cybersecurity. What will boost chances of getting jobs in the Indian market? Again, I don't know which field you are talking about specifically, Dipti. So I think what you need to really clearly understand is what program you are going to study and the application or the real-time application, the projects which you can take up or which you can do through that program. If you have something substantial in that, there's no stopping, because in India, they are looking for really good talent. Again, as I said previously in one of your question as well, you can go back and check on LinkedIn in your field how much they are ready to pay and how much talent are they specifically looking for. Apurva is asking, is there a separate artificial intelligence course in US? I have completed masters in computers. Yes, there is, Apurva. There is a specific artificial intelligence course in top-notch universities and most of the universities in US. Last 2 minutes, I can take the last question. Before that, I can just quickly go back to the slide and just share my details. So if you want to get in touch with me or my team, these are some of the students at Carnegie and complete funded at Georgia, etc. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can contact Mr. Shah on 98205-45774, or you can contact Mr. Ravi on 8655-657-557. You can check or add me on LinkedIn as well, Hardik Shah on LinkedIn, Professor Hardik Shah, and you can see about our success stories to that as well. So any of this medium, you can get in touch with us. So I can take last 1 or 2 questions now because we are running really short on time here. Yes, companies hiring graduates in India may not allot a job profile aligned to the chosen master. In such a case, how can we develop our profile while working in India before we fly abroad? Companies hiring graduates in India might not allot a job profile. Very good question, Yash. Very well said. So that's the whole point, right? If you don't get to work in your respective domain about what you are going to study in India or what you are going to study in US, what's the point spending 1 year and earning approximately around 35,000 rupees a month? Better do some certification course, do some research, and straight away pack your bags and go to US and start within a year, start earning $36,000 per annum within a year and a half. So that's the whole point which I was trying to make. Ishwari Joshi, LOR SOP transcripts, and I wanted to ask if I know a coding language like Python or a design software like AutoCAD, but I don't have any official certification of it because I've learned it through YouTube videos or my friend's Udemy account. Can I include the skills in my resume and SOP? You ideally don't need a certification if it is reflected on your LOR. So ensure before it comes on your SOP or resume, it goes on the LOR and it has a signature of your recommender or your mentor. If your recommender or your mentor puts a signature on it, you have done it. And they will not ask for the certification. How to build SOP? Can you take a session on it? Okay, Dipti, I will think and let you know, because that we do it ideally for our students who enroll with us. So I'll let you know. Entrance exams like GRE and GMAT. Apurva, I can do that, but it's very, very self-explanatory here. Everything is there on the ETS website. There's nothing what I need to talk to you specifically about in that. So if you have any questions, you can contact us and I'll answer that for you. Okay. So I think, guys, we should call it off. Yeah. Anyone else? I'm just being very happy because you guys are taking a lot of interest. That's the reason I'm just extending a few minutes here and there. So anyone else, I can still answer it because you've been a great audience, guys. You've been an awesome audience. So if anything else, I can still take one or two more questions. So I think, yes, that should be it. Okay, Shaktivil is asking if I do take courses in edX or Coursera, as it was. I just answered that here. Is the professors consider my application worth to take it? No. Suppose I'll give you an example. If you want to take a course or study machine learning and data science, go on Udemy or Coursera and take a course on Python with its applications in data science or R as its applications in data science, and ask your college recommender to put that on your LOR, and it will really, really help. Very much interested in AI courses. Here, what you can do is go on Coursera, start with Endru-NG's course first. Do that, the basic course of Endru-NG, and we can take it from there. Apurva. Okay, guys, absolute pleasure having you and all the very best. Make the right decision. And if you need anything else, do let me know. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.